Okay, maybe we can start while we are waiting another participant, but I have record our session today. So I will start our session. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm welcoming all of you to attend our webinar session that we held from this morning till this afternoon. Previously in this morning, we have workshop on how to prepare the manuscript by inviting the professor and another scholars from another university. And today's session will be continued up with language editing services that already services by Enago, and we subscribe from Unnes subscribe the services for the researchers in Unnes. Baik Bapak Ibu, jadi pada kesempatan hari ini kita akan masuk ke sesi pengenalan Enago sebagai layanan editing kebahasaan ketika Bapak Ibu akan mensubmit artikel untuk publikasi. Jadi nanti dari pihak Enago, here we have Miss Nicole Arya. She is from Enago. She will introduce what is Enago and what service that Enagos provide for Unnes, and how can we submit the manuscript. Later also we can discuss it. Okay, without delaying, I'd like to invite Ms. Nicole to share the presentation.
Okay. Thank you so much. Selamat pagi, everyone. I understand that you have a very enriching day so far. So you must have received a lot of knowledge from the other speakers, and I hope I can also contribute to certain percentage to this knowledge of yours. So glad to be here with the Unnes participants. So let me just share my screen and we'll get started with the business. So the idea of today's presentation is to share with you how can Enago help the academicians to smooth their journey. And we understand the publish and publish environment where publication is not only important to thrive in your personal career, but in the research career, but also for receiving the recognition for the hard work that you have conducted. So we can help make your publication journey little less cumbersome. That's the idea. So glad to be introducing you to Enago. Enago has a motto of author first, quality first. Author first means we understand that you are putting your years of work together in the form of manuscript, and then comes the quality that drives this STEM industry or STEM publication industry in remarkable pattern. So considering these two, we have packaged our services, and what we say is by working with Enago, academicians, they have a positive chance of getting the publication success. That's the idea. And I'm proud to inform you that we partnered with the University Negeri Semarang last year, and I'm hoping that this partnership can prove pivotal to enhance the research output of the university. That's the objective that we have in mind. So let's get started. Before we dive into what Enago can contribute, let us discuss a little on the academic publishing landscape, the entire ecosystem, how it is crafted, and how much this cycle keeps on running to ensure that the literature keeps on coming and the research is thriving. So at the epicenter of it, of the academic publishing landscape, lies the researchers, those who are putting their years of work together in the form of manuscript, and then they are conducting research and then sharing it with the academic community overall. So next is the universities and the research institutions. Their role is to provide the infrastructure facilities for the researchers to conduct their research and move forward with their work. Then comes the important layer of funders and the policy makers. It is very important, as we have all understand the importance of uninterrupted financial flow. So their real role is to ensure that the right research is getting funded occasionally, or regularly, and is moving forward. Then comes the libraries. So we all understand the importance of literature review. libraries' role is to provide good quality, peer-reviewed research for the researchers to read and cite in their work. So that's the role of libraries, and then comes the publishers. We all agree to the fact that their role is to share the scholarly communication across physical borders rather than making profits. So this particular cycle keeps on going. Publishers, they publish the work, and again, then certain researchers in external worlds or some other part of the world will read that particular work, and again, this cycle will get started, be it in Indonesia, be it in Europe, be it in America. So the cycles remains the same. The idea is that the research must go on. So the last year, certain statistics we have collated from Skimago. Indonesia has been making a very good progress beginning from 2016. So a lot of funds, ministries also pumping in order to ensure that the research is thriving. We saw a dip last year, that is in 2022 statistics. These are 2022 statistics. And what we saw is Indonesia ranked on good fifth position ahead of countries like Malaysia and Taiwan. But recently, in last year, 2022, Indonesia slipped on another again to seventh position. So there was a 17% dip in the overall publication output. I hope this will improve in the coming year. Then it is remarkable to observe that there has been a 74% fold increase in the overall research output, that is the citable documents production, in comparison to the year 1996. So this graph is exponential, especially as I said, in 2016, we observed a good hike, and it has grown to good levels, and it has made its recognition and made its positioning in the overall global community of research. Now comes the subject areas. So we all know that medicine is the most published field in Indonesia, and the citations are being received mostly by chemistry. So most chemistry followed by material sciences, multidisciplinary immunology and microbiology field. So although the documents are a little less in terms of production of the research, but chemistry documents are receiving a lot of citations. So chemistry researchers, they can give a pat on their back, while other fields can accelerate or produce good quality work, publish in international journals, and get recognized. Now, in this particular slide, what my team has tried to do is we have to try to collate the best practices that you can adopt. I will give you just a brief outlook on this particular slide. First and foremost step is to coming up with a novel idea that can contribute in the existing literature. Make sure that you are conducting a thorough literature review before coining the topic of your next research, and ensure that you're creating a robust study design. Talk to your principal advisor, talk to your colleagues, those who are conducting research in the similar sort of field, and make sure you're adopting ethical practices while conducting the research. Then comes, once you have coined your research, once you have coined the topic, which journal you should aim for. I understand there is a debate whether to write a paper first and then to select a journal, but take an idea in mind that this is your target audience from the very beginning. Now, make sure that the database or the journal that you have selected is listed into recognized databases like Scopus and PubMed or Web of Sciences, whichever is recognized not only by your institution, but also by your nation. That is the way you will receive the recognition of your publication. Next is the idea or the concept of your research should match with the aims and scope of the journal. Then obviously make sure that you are staying away from predatory publication. Once you go through the journal's website, check they have proper ISSN number, proper peer reviewing board, or editorial declarations should be there. They are not just to make money after the APCs. They are there from quite some time, and they are publishing quality work. Next is start drafting the research paper after reading the formatting guidelines of the selected journal. Make sure you're avoiding plagiarism at all costs. You don't want to flag red in terms of plagiarism. Self-plagiarism is also a concept that you can read about. Then make sure that you are mentioning or you are following a proper language and grammar guidelines. While Enago is definitely there to brush it up, but you can also start writing adopting good writing practices. Then comes manuscript submission. So in this particular step, make sure you are sharing all the follow documents or all the reference document at one time. While it may sound tempting to submit the article to multiple journals in order to save time, but please do not do that. Stay away from that practice. Submit to one journal at a time. Ensure that you are reading out the journal's declaration that when can you expect to hear back. So journal editors that has been associated with Enago from quite some time. We understand we move in the circles. They always welcome if in case the author is following up on the status of the manuscript. So you can also follow up if in case you have not heard from, in a significant amount of time from the journal. Then comes once you have submitted your article, you have to address the reviewer comments. This is also very important that you have to start with a positive note, because these peer reviewers, they are contributing indirectly to your work. They are brushing the content in such a way that it is getting ready for the target audience. See, you as an author would be aware about the aspects of your research which a third eye might not be able to grasp, but just by reading the script of the paper. So make sure that when you are replying to the peer reviewer, make a point-wise comments and give a proper explanation to what you believe and what peer reviewer is contradicting on. And at certain occasions, you can also politely disagree with the peer reviewer, or you can just give the evidence of what you believe in. Next is, once the peer reviewer comments have been addressed, next step is promoting your research. It is also very important nowadays to talk about the published content on the databases or on the social media channels which are recognized. For example, ResearchGate, Authenticate, Twitter, for example. Make sure you are talking about your published content on the relevant fields. You can also take help from your research department so that they can disseminate the information amongst your university participants or university colleagues, so that, let's say, if tomorrow someone from your university happens to conduct research on the same subject, they can cite your content. So citations have become important. For that, you have to promote your work which has been published, making sure that the copyrights are followed. Then comes impact of good writing. We all must agree to the fact that, impact of good writing goes a long way. It makes sure that you are communicating your research effectively. The chances of acceptance in the journal are higher. Making sure that you're securing grant for your next research is also possible by effective messaging. Effective messaging can happen if we are taking support of the native English speaker, or in fact the organization that understands the subject nuances or nuances of the academic writing overall. So this is what solution we are providing you. Enago works with the author till the time they're getting published. So Enago makes sure that the author is submitting error-free paper to the journal. Then there will be a peer reviewing process which will be happening at the journal end. Once the reviewer comments are received, Enago can again work in collaboration with the author so that they are submitting a coherent paper, a consistent paper to the journal overall. Let's say at one particular stage, the journal that you have submitted your article on is coming up with a comment that you should submit your article to journal B. Even in that situation, Enago will be with you to reformat your article as per another journal guidelines and making sure that your publication journey is simplified. So, bit brief about our organization. We have been in this industry from 2005, and we've served the researchers as well as the universities. We have been leaders in Japan, Korea, and many other Asian nations. So we are headquartered in US. I will show you the map where we are located in different locations. And on the other hand side, you can see we are also members of certain academic organizations. The idea is to understand the best practices from the academia and share it with the academicians, those who are working with us. For example, we are also members of COPE, that is the Committee of Publication Ethics. So whatever we do at Enago completely abides by the guidelines of publication or international accepted guidelines. This is the physical offices, distribution of our organization. We are headquartered at US and we are located in 13 different nations. And we work with universities and researchers. At the same time, we work with the audience, which is at the different side of the table, which is publishers. So we work with publishers both in pre-submission stage, where they recommend Enago services to the authors, those who would like to submit in their journal, and post-acceptance stage, where already accepted article is coming to Enago to ensure that it meets the international benchmarks of writing standards. So in both the cases, what publishers are doing, they are decreasing the operation, timeline at their end, and the peer reviewer process or peer reviewing process can speed up by collaborating with companies like Enago. So we work with Elsevier, Wiley, IEEE, TIMA, Royal Society of Chemistry, Bristol University Press. The Oxford University Press is also our recent addition into this particular list. The idea is to understand what are the publishers expecting from the researchers, and while working with the researchers themselves, we understand their challenges as well. So idea is to bridge that particular gap of understanding and make sure more and more research is getting published and more quality content is going out there in terms of publication. So QS, you must be aware, not only the universities and the publishers, we also work with organizations, those who boost this kind of best practices. So QS, we are working with QS, we are partnered with QS, and we are working with NCURA, that is the National Council of University Research Administrators. The idea is to, as I said, is to make sure that the institution's research is of quality and it is going out, and ensuring that institutional research output is increasing. So at the bottom, you can see certain organizations that have been working with us from quite some time. Overall, we are working with around 450 different universities. Now, what we do can be categorized into three broad categories. First is the scientific editing and formatting service. I'm calling it scientific. It is because each and every time the article is coming to Enago, it is being checked by the SME, which is the subject matter expert in your very own domain. What this will do is this will allow the editor who has been allocated your paper to understand the terminologies, complex terminologies that you have used in your paper, and whatever change that the editor is recommending to the author is constructive to the research messaging by understanding the subject area. And then comes the author education services. Now, these education services are there to impart knowledge. So we conduct workshops, we conduct webinars, we have training programs specifically curated for the university. So let's say if there is a problem statement that university might be facing right now, or some university specific concern that is related to research, can be sorted out through training. We can try to sort it out through trainings of the publication experts. Then comes the extended support. So not just simple language and grammar or education part. We also have certain complex services like journal selection, pre-submission peer review. On the fourth quadrant, which is not mentioned over here, is the AI tools. So Enago also has certain AI tools that can ease up the journey of the author. So first level of service is the language check service. It is budget conscious service. And if in case you want to check your paper from the language and grammar point of view, you can certainly use language check service. Then comes the copy editing, which is a notch higher. In this case, what happens that the paper is checked from the language and grammar point of view, and the second expert who will work on the paper will be the SME. First will be the subject matter expert, and second will be the language expert. This two-time check will ensure that the quality which is going to the journal is flawless in nature. So as I said, the subject matter expert from your very own background will understand the terminologies, and the changes will keep your research idea intact. It will not just brush up the English part of it, but also the subject-specific corrections will be made. And then the journal formatting, which will be, you can recommend as a journal and we can format the paper accordingly. That will ease your publication journey. And then finally, the certificate that yes, this paper has been thoroughly checked by the team of professionals will be provided by us. Next is the substantive editing service. Now, this is the premium most support from Enago team. Now, how it works extra is, in this case, what happens that the Experts will also review your paper from the logical flow point of view. The presentation of the paper will be enhanced, and accordingly, the content changes will be done. So let's say the subject matter expert will review a paper from the storytelling point of view. And let's say if the graph is located at one location, but it will make much more sense to the story of the paper, it will be relocated to another location. So substantive editing is a premium changes or, substantial changes that will be made on your manuscript. The cover letter, which is the compelling part of the paper, will be provided under substantive editing, and then journal formatting will be done accordingly. The certificate of editing will be done provided to you. The best feature of a substantive editing service is you can always come back to Enago. For 365 days, you have edit unlimited feature. So in this case, what happens that the peer reviewer, once they comment on your paper, and author is asked to make changes, these changes can also be reviewed by our organization or our editor, so that the quality of the paper is consistent in nature. It is available for 365 days. So you are insured for about a year if in case you are making any changes, small changes on the paper. These changes can also be checked. Next, this is the comparison between all three service levels. So you can make a well-informed decision which service level you would like to go ahead with. If in case you just want to focus on language and grammar, go with the language check. If you want to go for copy editing, which is a mid-level service, you can go for mid-level service. And then substantive editing, if the premium support is required, you can go for the substantive editing. And all these discounted pricing that I've just mentioned on my slides, it is available on www.enago.com/unnes, which is accessible only to participants. It's an exclusive co-branded portal for you all, and then you can access the discounted prices or subsidized prices for your organization. Now we also have thesis editing. If in case the larger documents require revision, that can also be covered. Now the extended support that I mentioned about was journal selection, in which our publication experts will read through the paper and will recommend top 5 journals based on certain inputs like which database you're aiming, what is the speed of publication you're looking. So all sorts of feedbacks will be taken in advance, and the report will be generated in order to give you an idea which journal you should aim for, if in case there is a confusion about that. Then we have Authenticate, which is a plagiarism checking software, where you can use plagiarism check through Enago, and we'll be sharing the report accordingly. Pre-submission peer review, which is a mock peer review done by the publication experts again to identify the gaps and share constructive feedback. So that is also possible. And we can also submit your paper on your behalf. Finally, the webinars. We can conduct specific training for Unnes participant. You can share your feedback, or you can share the comments or the topics that you would like us to address, and we'll be definitely be able to conduct the webinars or even workshop in case the time, things allow. So I would also like to introduce you to an online AI-powered writing assistant, that is Trinka, which is again an Enago product. This also helps the academicians to write better. So you can also explore about www.trinka.ai. It has been trained on the content of well-written papers through Enago between the year since past 18, 19 years now. Now, how we maintain the quality management system, we always ask for the feedback from the academician once we deliver the edited article. This allows us to improve consistently for the academicians, and we have maintained the quality satisfaction ratio of 99.4%. Our repeat order ratio is about 77 to 85%. So that means that our partners or authors are trusting Enago with the content, and they are sharing with us consistently, working with us consistently. Now, the team that has made this quality possible are without a doubt our editors. They're native English speakers from USA, UK, Canada, Australia. They are the peer reviewers for many reputed journals, and they are themselves published authors. The idea is to provide them support of coming from best from the industry. Their average on English editing experience is 19.4 years. So these are the professionals, those who will be putting their best foot forward in helping the authors get published. I'm sure that there are several other offerings available that you might have used in past, but how Enago stands out completely, first and foremost, is the specialized subject area matching. Every time the author sends the article, it goes through a subject validation process in which we will check which is the area of this manuscript is. For example, if the paper is in the field of medicine, the subject is dentistry, the further specialization is oral dentistry. Enago will go 3 layers down to allocate the right editor to the right manuscript. This is how the subject specialization is important for us so that the terminologies are well understood and all the change done by the editor are not only from the English point of view, but also from the subject matter point of view. Then to edit a system, each and every article works on two systems, that is subject matter. First is the language subject matter expert and second is the language expert. So this two-time check will ensure that the quality which is going to the journal is flawless in nature. Then the edit unlimited feature, I've already explained under substantive editing. You can have multiple rounds of checks with Enago without paying anything extra. And this is the best feature until the very end. Enago will walk with you. Finally, the Enago promise, we are taking 100% guarantee on the language front. So the researchers can concentrate on the science while we will work on the presentation of the paper. So be it any level of service that you have chosen with Enago, if journal comments that the language is not, very well, we'll work on it till the time journal is satisfied without asking any extra penny from the author. So Enago promise gives you the guarantee that yes, the language is taken care of. Now the science will play its role in terms of acceptance. The Enago Academy is the team that works on the content building, be it webinars or the workshops that we conduct. In fact, you will also have the access to scholarly resources, which will be curated by Enago Academy team, which is the knowledge arm of Enago. It is completely free for you to read and learn from that particular content. This is the website that I've mentioned about. Now, Unnes has a setup where you can send your manuscript to Prof. Seppi and he can cover that particular part later and they can share with us. So it will be university funded setup. Now, this is something that how you can actually send your paper. You can in fact send your paper to Professor Seppi as well. Now, this is the small video that I'd like you to watch. It's quite interesting in terms of it has the pictures and pictorial representation.
Do you have a research paper? Want to publish it in
I
an
hope
international
all the
journal
people-
and be famous? But are you worried about journal rejection? Don't be. Enago's author services are designed to make your paper publication ready. Our mission is author first, quality first. Nothing else matters more to us. We offer 2 levels of editing to address all academic writing and publishing needs of researchers. Our copy editing service makes your paper meet all journal requirements for grammar, formatting, technical accuracy, style, and consistency. Papers submitted to this service are returned free from all such errors. But if you want a lot more than this, our substantive editing service is exactly what you need. Wondering what more does it offer? It improves the logical flow and structure of your paper. It enhances the content to fix any gaps that may exist in the paper. You also get Rejection Shield, which means we edit your paper even after you receive your journal's feedback. We edit responses to reviewer queries, write a cover letter, and edit content added by you. In short, we offer you complete peace of mind. No matter what service you choose, remember the Enago promise. We promise you that your manuscript will never be rejected because of language. Need more? Wait, we've just gotten started. You need re-editing? No problem. Our Edit Unlimited support offers free editing unlimited number of times until you're satisfied. You have questions for our editors? Bring them on. We won't charge you a penny. You need a cover letter too? Why not? We'll make one that will make your research shine. You need a certificate as proof of editing. You'll have it in your inbox. The result of all of this, publication success.
So we would like our authors to achieve publication success, and that's what our motto is. So I will open the floor for questions. Please feel free to ask questions, and let's make it an interactive session instead, a monologue. So do let me know if in case you have any queries so far.
Yeah, I think it's quite clear.
Mhm.
Thank you, Nicole. So I'd like to invite all the participants to deliver the question. Bapak Ibu bisa mengirimkan pertanyaan pakai bahasa Indonesia atau pakai bahasa Inggris, nanti bisa saya bantu. Monggo.
Okay, Mr.
Oh yes, please,
Hello.
Benny.
Okay, first of all, I want to say thank you very much for Enago to having this session. So it's gonna be one of the most important thing and interesting as well for us, especially as the students, because having the manuscript or maybe uh publish the journal is also one of the requirement for us to finally can graduate from our department. Maybe for the question, first of all, like if we want to have something like uh what is it called, discussions, for example, and then we want to edit as well our manuscript to Enago, is it possible for us to finally have our direct discussion with the expert? Because sometimes when we want to make the manuscript and we get directly the editing, it's also some things like unclear, like different
Right.
perspective maybe
Correct.
between the author and also the editor as well. And the second one is about the guarantee. I mean, I know that from your discussion before, if we want to edit the manuscript by using the Enago, it will also have the guarantee and it will be re-edit until we finally can submit our manuscript to the journal.
Yes.
So if we have the guarantee something like that, should we repay for the second time or how about that? Maybe that's all.
Very relevant
Thank you.
question, Benny. I think you were attentive throughout the presentation. So
Yes. Maybe
first,
I missed some information about that.
no worries, no worries. A very relevant questions. The first question is about getting lost in the process of editing. I completely understand, the third perspective or the person who is reading your paper for the first time might find certain ambiguous statements on the
Yes.
paper. And
Yes.
this is how Inago is standing out different. What we do is, if in case certain ambiguity is there in terms of making the changes or the message behind particular writing of the paper, our editors will leave the comment. Did you
Okay.
mean this, for example? Did you mean this particular way? Or our understanding of this particular line is this. So it's an interactive process. In this, with what you can do is, once you receive the edited manuscript, go through the comments of the editor. And if you feel that I need to answer back to the author or to the editor who has worked on the paper, just simply send that particular file back to Inago. So after addressing the editor's comment. So this particular practice ensures it's a collaborative process. You are also learning with the process, and editor is also learning about what is your requirement overall. So always feel free to send back your paper after addressing the editor comment. Always open the track change version and check what are the comments left by the editor. So this Q&A process is completely free. Any level of service, you can always ask, go to the Inago team from where you have actually received the delivered file, and go back to the Inago team asking the question that I have addressed the editor comment. Please process the file once again and share with me. So they will share with you the tag that, okay, you can expect to hear back within 24 hours or 48 hours, and they will give you a certain timeline. By that particular time, the editor will again work on the paper and send it to back. So this can happen multiple times unless you are making substantial additions. And the second question is about how many times you can actually send a paper for re-editing. So re-editing is allowed until 20% is completely free if you have chosen substantive editing. So the idea of premium support helps you get the support even after one round of edit. So the Edit Unlimited feature can take care of the re-editing part, or let's say if you have made changes which are under 20%, they are also covered by Inago without any additional cost. So even only if the changes are above 20%, then the author will be charged only for the new edit content, not for the entire
Oh,
manuscript,
okay.
because the entire manuscript has already been edited by our team. Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Miss. So, just for to clarify about it, like the first questions. So when we want to have the interaction between the author and also maybe the editor, it will be just by comment and all the other media.
Yes. So you have to raise a Q&A batch. This, even if in case you're not satisfied with the work of the editor, you can always come back to Inago. The idea of keeping an operations team in the middle of the author and the editor is to make sure that you are not stuck at one particular stance. If that
Yes.
editor is not replying on a certain timeline, we'll allocate another editor. So the idea is to make sure that you are receiving support through and through. Okay.
And how about the time difference zone? Because we know that maybe we have also time difference zone, right? For example,
Yeah.
our editor.
So see, my team is operational. My
Oh,
client servicing team is operational 24/7. So
all
be it
right.
a Monday, be it a Saturday, be it a Friday. You
Okay,
can
thank
always
you.
trust on Enago team. We'll get back to you. Then 60 minutes timeline. So 1 hour timeline. We'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for the information.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Benny. Oh, you're so in spirit. Okay, keep spirit
Yeah.
and keep
Keep up the spirit.
writing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Maybe from another participant, if there any of you have any questions? Saya pikir sudah cukup jelas ya Bapak Ibu. Jadi layanan Enago ini memfasilitasi dosen dan juga mahasiswa yang memiliki artikel untuk bisa dipublish ke jurnal yang baik. Tadi dari Enago menyediakan fasilitasi substantive editing yang dilengkapi dengan banyak penyertanya, termasuk tadi ada sertifikat editing, kemudian ada cover letter, ada kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu belum layout, nanti bisa di layoutkan sama pihak Enago dan yang lain-lain. Jadi saya mengundang Bapak Ibu untuk mencoba fasilitasi ini. Tahun ini kita masih terbatas sebetulnya hanya untuk 50 artikel, itu pun dengan jumlah kata maksimal 4.000. Kemarin kami coba kalkulasi dengan sejumlah investment yang kami simpan di Enago. Nah, sampai saat ini baru ada 4 artikel yang sudah ada di saya, dan 2 artikel sudah saya kemarin uji coba di Enago. Sangat baik substantif editingnya, dari istilah-istilah yang digunakan, karena saya dari kimia, maka istilah yang relatif dengan kimia itu bisa representatif lah. Nah, jadi tidak terlalu jauh beda dengan yang kita harapkan. Kemudian tadi seperti Nico sampaikan, Bapak Ibu bisa berkomunikasi. You can communicate with the editors, with the reviewers that suggest some point on your manuscript for 24/7. Jadi Bapak Ibu bisa memanfaatkan itu, dan itu for free dalam satu artikel yang sama selama tidak mengubah substansi sampai dengan 20%. So if the substantive editing is more than 20%, so it counted as a new manuscript.
So only the 20%, above 20%
Yeah,
change.
above. Okay.
Yeah, just let's say 100 words have been added, only 100 words will be charged if the
Hmm.
5,000 words original manuscript was there.
Okay. Thank you for the silakan Bapak Ibu yang lain.
Maaf Pak Cepi, saya tertinggal masuk.
Ya, boleh, Bu Langlang, mangga.
Iya. Tadi prosedurnya gimana Pak? Kalau misalkan kami punya artikel itu, kemudian kalau mau mengenagukan ke Pak
Sebetulnya
Cepi dulu atau
ya,
gimana?
dikirim ke saya, Japri, boleh lewat WhatsApp. Sebenarnya di website LPPM itu, sebentar saya bukakan. Sebentar. Ini internetnya cukup lelet. Oke, jadi ini di LPPM atau di webnya Unnes, ini sudah ada informasi terkait dengan bagaimana layanan language editing yang dengan Enago. Nicole, I'm so sorry, I'm still put old leaflet here from Enago. I will immediately change it. Jadi di sini Bapak Ibu bisa mengirimkan artikel ke sini. Ada aturannya, nanti ada fakultas, kemudian nama author nama penulis pertama, kemudian nama jurnal tujuan kalau sudah ada, kalau belum ada ya blank saja, kemudian judul artikel. Misalnya di sini les itu untuk language editing editing services. Nah, jadi bisa Bapak Ibu tuliskan seperti ini nama filenya. Kemudian kami coba untuk bisa memfasilitasi satu manuskripnya itu maksimal kita proses di 10 hari kerja. Nah, nanti setelah ada feedback dari Enago, saya akan mengirimkan, Bapak Ibu akan mendapatkan email. Jadi nanti pakai email saya untuk mengirimkan, karena kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu mengirimkan sendiri nanti berbayar. Kalau pakai alamat email saya itu akan dikenakan harga subscription, harga Unnes. Kemudian email untuk corresponding dengan editor nanti akan saya submitkan ketika saya memasukkan ke dalam sistemnya Enago, begitu.
Itu
Dan
dalam bahasa Indonesia atau bahasa Inggris ya Pak Teguh?
dalam bahasa
Maaf, ini tidak
Inggris.
begitu. Oh,
Dalam
sudah
bahasa
dalam
Inggris.
bahasa Inggris
Jadi
ya
ini
manuskripnya ya.
bukan jasa translation. Ini untuk editing kebahasaannya, sehingga nanti bisa
oke.
lebih fluent lagi. Kemudian termasuk grammatical error check-nya, kemudian logical flow-nya bisa dibantu sama timnya Enago.
Oke. Iya, iya. Oh, tidak termasuk apa namanya? Belum sampai ke jurnalnya apa bisa nggak? Atau nanti dipilihkan sana juga begitu?
Oh, kalau misalnya untuk yang disarankan jurnal itu ada biaya tambahan dan kita tidak mengcover itu. Nah, jadi sebaiknya
Oke.
misalnya Bulanglang sudah punya cita-cita nih mau ke jurnal ini, kemudian belum tahu nih mekanismenya seperti apa, dan biasanya ada guideline-nya kan. Nah, guideline-nya
Iya.
akan dipelajari oleh tim Enago. Mereka akan menyesuaikan. Sorry, Nicole, is there
Yes.
any for the service including formatting following the journal guidelines? Is it also using, for example, reference manager, for example, because some of the journal use a different style.
Yes, we can format as per the journal style. If the total
Oke.
word
Jadi
count include references, so we'll format as per the journal guidelines.
ya, jadi gitu ya Bulanglang. Jadi bisa sampai dengan layout ke jurnal tujuan, bahkan termasuk cara citasi. Nah, cuma masalahnya saya belum nyoba ya. Kemarin apa yang saya kirimkan itu kebetulan tidak mengubah format citasi karena saya sudah mengirimkan dalam bentuk terformat. Nah, ketika kembali ke kita, kalau misalnya layoutnya dibuatkan sama mereka, itu apakah hyperlink Mendeley atau EndNote-nya itu masih attach atau tidak? Saya belum mencoba. Begitu.
Oke. Ini basically berbayar enggak, Pak?
Sudah dibayarkan Unnes, Ibu. Jadi Unnes itu
gitu.
sudah berinvestasi di Enago. Jadi sistemnya mereka itu kita harus bayar di muka. Nah, siapa yang mau pakai silahkan menggunakan dana yang kita simpan di Enago. Sementara untuk sampai dengan bulan Mei ini kita punya jatah sekitar 50 artikel jika artikelnya itu maksimal 4.000 kata. Tapi kalau misalnya lebih ya berarti akan mengurangi jumlah artikel yang diprosit.
4.000 kata itu kira-kira berapa ya, Pak?
Berapa ya? It's depend on the space.
Gitu.
Tapi tidak masalah. Ya silahkan dicoba saja. Misalnya Bulanglang.
Oke, insya Allah.
Saya 1.500. Ya, it's okay. Just try to submit to me.
Oke, insya Allah.
Begitu.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Cepi.
Oke.
Yes,
Silahkan Bapak Ibu yang lain.
UNS is
mahasiswa.
actually very forward-looking university that is providing support to the academicians. It's very commendable. So please make best use of this particular resource that has been allocated by the university.
Right. Nicole, for the changing the reference citation style,
Yes.
will the edited manuscript still use the reference manager?
Well, we can format as per with whatever is easy way of working.
Okay.
Our editors, our formatting team, they have the resources in place. So whatever is demanded by the authors will be.
I
Uh-huh.
mean, if the edited manuscript, for example, then submitted to one journal and then rejected, then the authors decide to try to submit it to another journal. It means she or he also have to change
Format.
the style.
Yeah, yeah.
So if the style of the reference not using a reference manager, I think it will be difficult. So can we request for the reformatting to
Yes.
Enago?
Yes,
Okay.
under substantive editing, edit
Mhm.
unlimited feature, you can always ask for the reformatting of
Okay.
the both the references as well as the entire manuscript.
Oke. Jadi Bapak Ibu bisa bisa mencoba berulang kali merubah format kalau misalnya jurnalnya berbeda-beda. Tapi yang jelas harus ada bukti rejection misalnya. Nanti bukti rejection atau misalnya Bapak Ibu dalam proses under review juga bisa didiskusikan dengan pihak Enago. Jadi mereka akan membantu how to fight with the reviewers. Nicole,
Mhm.
if the author request for the suggestion of the targeted journal, what about the fee? How much is it?
It's about $180 per manuscript.
One and
$180
$180 per
article.
okay, per articles. 180. Wah, lumayan. So please, is there any more question that's still unclear? Jadi Bapak Ibu tadi Nicole sudah menunjukkan website untuk submission sebetulnya. Jadi Bapak Ibu sebetulnya bisa mensubmit langsung selama menggunakan email saya. Cuma kan email saya nggak mungkin saya share gitu kan. Jadi sebaiknya Bapak Ibu submit dulu ke saya biar nanti saya yang membantu mensubmitkan untuk saya tembuskan ke Bapak Ibu melalui corresponding authornya. Dan pastikan corresponding authornya membuka email dengan rutin karena tadi dalam waktu 10 hari biasanya proses editingnya akan segera dikembalikan. Okay, is that clear enough?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Bu Lang Lang. Nicole, is there any more question that you have to share with us?
Well, I would just say that keep learning, and this is the resource. Please, this is the services part that you can avail to Prof. Sepi, but these are the resources that you can avail for free, that scholarly resources from on academic writing, publication stages. The articles will populate here, and then you can also attend any webinars that we have conducted. So all these are free resources for
Okay,
especially University Semarang and Nigeri Semarang. So
okay, it's nice.
do learn from these particular resources because that will help you to accelerate your research career. So have a look. These are the hand-picked articles.
Oh, okay, nice.
They are completely freely accessible to the university academicians. So please, I'll share this link on the message box and keep reading, keep progressing.
Okay, thank you very much, Nicole.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Sepi, for organizing this.
Okay.
Terima kasih, everyone.
Terima kasih Nicole for
Terima
your
kasih.
time, and I hope someday we can meet in Semarang or in other city in Indonesia.
Of course,
Thank you also for having me to invite me to meet in Jogja or also in Kuala Lumpur. Unfortunately, I can't at that time, so I
trust
hope
me,
in
I
the next
keep on
time.
traveling, so I'll see you somewhere. I'll catch you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Bapak Ibu, I think that's it. Our session, the last session for our workshop today. Again, thank you to Nico and all the participants who attend our meeting today. Selamat berkarya, Bapak Ibu. Kami tunggu manuskrip-manuskripnya. eh, jangan merasa oh, ini bahasa Inggrisnya belum siap dan seterusnya, submit dulu, nanti saya seleksi. Daripada saya nggak punya bahan untuk diseleksi kan mumet ya, ulang-ulang. Oke,
Ini mumet
itu
buatnya kalau ini. Oke,
baik,
oke.
itu
Iya,
saja.
terima kasih
Terima
Pak
kasih.
Cepi.
So I close our session today by saying alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Nicole, see you next time. And Bapak Ibu juga sampai ketemu di lain waktu. Selamat sukses
Insyaallah.
untuk publikasi
Amin.
di masa-masa yang akan datang. Saya tutup.
Amin,
Pilih
amin.
Taufik. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oke,
Thank you, Bang.
thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Bye.